Hello everyone and welcome back to Prestige Reef. Once again it's time for an update to see how the Red Sea Reefer 425 is doing. Firstly, the 3 fish are doing well, with the 2 new wrasse seen in the last update settling in nicely. I also have another new fish which I'll show you later in the video. With regards to the corals, 99% of them are doing well. Almost all of them have based out or are growing new heads, with some of them, like this Pavona, growing like crazy. Having said that, I promised you that I would keep you up to date with both the good and the bad, and for some reason, my pink and green hystrix aren't doing well. This wasn't a surprise to me, as even in my main display it can be incredibly temperamental, growing like crazy one minute and looking grumpy the next. Whenever something isn't doing well, I always want to know exactly why, rather than just thinking, oh well, corals are delicate sometimes. There are 5 main things which can affect coral health, which are incorrect environment, poor nutrition, pests, predators, or being stung by something else. The last 3 can be crossed off the list, as there are no pests in the tank, no fish which would be nipping them, and nothing close enough to sting them. This leaves environment and nutrition. Nutrition is the less likely of the two, as I've been feeding vast amounts of Reef Energy A and B, and hystrix also gets the majority of its nutrition from photosynthesis. So having narrowed it down to environment, I set to work testing my key parameters, firstly to check that they're all correct, and secondly to dial in a dosing pump to improve stability. Stability is absolutely key in this hobby, and I've just set up a second-hand dosing pump to keep the parameters even more stable. Although some of you think you might know everything there is to know about testing, there was one part which I was doing wrong, so you might learn something new. As you know by now, I'm not required to give an opinion, however there are a few unique features which I really like. Inside the box you get all the vials and reagents you need to test, as well as the easy to read, simplified, laminated instructions. These simple instructions are also clearly labelled on each of the reagents themselves. Similar to the algae control test kits which I showed you previously, they also come complete with a case to keep out light and humidity, which can affect the long-term integrity of some of the reagents. Although a minor feature, I prefer glass vials compared to plastic ones, and the colour-coded syringes which match the laminated cards are a nice touch, to ensure there's no cross-contamination between the reagents from each test. The titrator is also a pretty neat feature, as it allows you to easily push the plunger of the syringe while swirling at the same time. It also covers the top of the vial, which helps prevent spillage. A commonly asked question when it comes to titration test kits is where on the syringe you take the reading from. You need to look at the bottom of the plunger. Another nice touch is that the alkalinity test has 2 colour indicators, which not only shows you when the test is complete, but also when you've gone too far by adding too much reagent. A minute ago, I mentioned that I was doing something wrong. This was with the magnesium test. When you check calcium, you want to add the reagent until you get a solid colour change and the solution won't change anymore. With magnesium, however, you want to do the opposite and take the reading at the start of the colour change, and if you get a solid colour, you've gone too far. As with all forms of testing, it's important that you follow the instructions exactly. If it says shake for 1 minute, or wait 15 seconds between drops, set a timer rather than guessing when you think the time is up. If you're going to put the effort in testing your water, there is no point in rushing it. Take your time and get an accurate reading rather than doing it quickly and getting one which may result in you trying to alter a parameter that doesn't need to be changed. This also applies when cleaning your vials. I have no doubt that many of you will give them a quick rinse and throw them back in the box. Leftover residue from previous tests or even tap water can affect your future results. If you really want to look after them, you can even fill them with RO water when you're storing them to avoid any residue. With regards to my results, they all came back within an acceptable level, although they do fluctuate slightly over the course of a week. This could be what's causing the problem. Hopefully, with the addition of the new dosing pump and the stability they will bring, they will be able to bounce back pretty quickly. These are very delicate creatures, which can be sensitive to subtle changes, and even experienced hobbyists have trouble sometimes trying to work out what the problem is, when some corals are doing brilliantly, while others are struggling. Anyway, at the start of the video, I mentioned that I got a new fish. That new addition is a Pacific sailfin tang, and although it's only small at the moment, they have the potential to get quite big. Having said that, Before anyone calls the tank police, she will end up in one of the 6-foot coral trays in the new fish room once she's outgrown this one. At the moment it remains nameless, so let me know your suggestions of what it should be called, and I'll let you know my favourite in a later video. I hope you enjoyed watching my video. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. If you did enjoy it, why not click that like and subscribe button. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.